It is Heads Together. Hello, everyone. I'm Bonnie Low-Kramen, and I am here with my assistant of 9 years, Jennifer Wilner. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Bon. Hi, everybody.
We
Yay.
figured out today it was 9 years. It's 9 years this month.
Awesome. Seems like
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. And I mean, my comment was, gosh, a lot of marriages don't last that long. And we're still going strong.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Well, so interesting. Today is a huge news day. Lots of news about the workplace happening today, and some of you may notice that I have a different background today. I'm in New Jersey visiting family, and so Jen and I had a chance to visit live and in person today. Not right now, but earlier today. We managed to meet up for coffee, so that was great being able to hug you in person, Jen.
Ditto.
Well, hi, Lynn. Welcome to the show, Lynn DeLuca. Welcome. Happy to see you. Wondering if you saw some of the news reports today. So interesting what's going on. One story out there about the workplace is that there's now a move in certain companies about the word hybrid. You know how we've been talking about the word hybrid to refer to a workplace that's, some people are working in the office and some are working at home. And there's been a backlash against that word. And so the new word that's replacing the word hybrid is the word flexible, or intentionally flexible work plan in the workplace. So I'm wondering, I want to share a few things that I've been hearing. And so welcome to the show, Sandy and Denise. Hi, everybody. As I'm talking about these news stories that I've been reading about in the last few days, please feel free to comment in the chat. Questions, comments, like, are you hearing this too? Are people in your workplace, namely HR and leaders, now choosing not to use the word hybrid? I'm not exactly sure. I'm a words person, and I've never been offended by the word hybrid. I think it kind of, we certainly, if somebody is an executive assistant and also does personal tasks, we say that that's a hybrid position, right. EAPA. I don't find anything wrong with it, actually. So, Sandy, you're so sweet. She's telling me I look younger. It must be the lighting. I'm here in Jersey. Who knows? Maybe it's Olympia Dukakis, who I worked with for 25 years, used to say, it's all about the lighting. It's she would make very good friends with the lighting designers on her movies. Hi, Mindy. Welcome to Heads Together. So, what are you all hearing about the word hybrid? And is anybody making a big deal about it and saying that, no, we're going to now use the word flexible to refer to the work style? Lynn is still seeing the word hybrid in the WAN ads. Okay, cool. So that ties to the next story that I heard about just today about, Sandy's using the word flexible, and you're finding that people don't like it. When I think of flexible, I think of a physical body being flexible. I'm kind of liking hybrid, so that's my opinion. Heard today that Amazon, the company, has rethought their return to work plan, and they are now in a situation where they are not going to have a company-wide policy, that the leadership has said that department heads can now decide about the plan for return to work. And what I find so interesting about that is that that's how it was pre-pandemic for so many companies. For those who have attended BTUA, that we would often hear from assistants, well, I get to work at home a few days a week, but that's because my manager's cool with it. But in other departments, it's not like that. So I just find it very fascinating that it feels like now we're kind of back to the way it was.
Yeah.
A couple of comments there, Jen.
Yeah. Kalpani thinks it's a bit dangerous. I'm curious why.
Yeah. Well, I suspect that part of the danger is that it feels too unstructured.
Mm,
And therefore feels unfair, which is what we were hearing pre-pandemic
yeah.
from assistants who were saying, yeah, in a certain department, the manager is totally cool and is not a micromanager and trusts that we're all going to get our work done and is fine with people working from home, and other managers are not. So it could feel, and please, Kalpana, let us know if that's what you're thinking of. We've used both depending upon the communication we're distributing. And
About
I
being
think you're
flexible.
referring to the hybrid versus flexible.
Mm-hmm.
But, we as assistants know that words matter. We know that. It's really important on Heads Together to raise awareness about what's happening so that when we start seeing these words coming from HR and our leaders, we can raise a red flag if it's needed. And Kalpana is saying that it was accurate to say that the danger comes from the potential unfair aspect of, well, this department's able to work at home 4 days a week and this other one can't do it at all.
Sure.
It just feels unequal. So that's interesting about how leaders in different companies are kind of riding a wave. And I've been writing a lot about it lately and making a point that company leaders may want to set a schedule for return to office and certain policies, but the pandemic doesn't agree. The pandemic is not on a schedule and it's not behaving. It's not, going with the flow. All right. The next story that I heard about today, and Jen, you're going to put up a link for this.
Yep.
It is about the trend towards a 4-day work week. Really interested in knowing what everybody on the call thinks about that. Are you a thumbs up with 4-day work week? Do you feel that's dangerous too? So the link that Jen is putting up, it actually lists many, many companies that are using a 4-day work week. It won't surprise anybody that a lot of them, the majority of these companies that are both in the United States, like Shake Shack, they're on a 4-day work week.
Sure.
That they're not only in the United States, but they're in Europe as well. So this is a very interesting list. And Jen, you're putting up that link.
I
Thank
did.
you.
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And so how it's working with many companies is that it's a 10-hour day. It's a 10-hour work day, 4 days a week. And the people it's a newish kind of thing, but so many of them started during the pandemic because there were no boundaries then. People were sleeping at work. They were just at home. So 10-hour work days, 4 days a week. Do we think that is, Kalpana saying that she's got too much work to do, 4 days a work week. And Lynn is saying that 10-hour days is hard to do on a regular basis. Yeah. Is it one of those ideas that's better in theory than it is in practice? Just, and I don't think it's going to work for every company, but super interested in knowing if this is something that you believe is a thing that may come to the United States. We in America are so known for our workaholism that I've always been one of the people who's super skeptical of its viability and its ability to be with us inevitably. Jen, we have a comment.
Yeah, interesting. Someone says, I'd love a 4-day work week. My company executive team have asked the EAs to be in the office Monday through Thursday with the option to work from home on Fridays. I'm in favor of the 4-day, 10 hours each work week.
Yeah. And so I love the idea that if you're hearing this for the first time on the show on Heads Together, that maybe it's a conversation that you can begin at your company and using the link that Jen put up there and just to be able to validate, like, no, this is actually a thing that's been going on in some companies just since 2020, but in other companies, this list that link has, it says when they initiated the 4-day work week. I don't know, Jen, do you have an opinion on that?
I kind of think of, I get what, if you're a working parent and you have to like juggle kinds of things, how you need to kind of like get back online later in the day, or maybe that Friday is the day that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Like I can't finish everything kind of thing.
Yeah. I suspect it. Go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
But they're saying it's a 4-day and then Friday you're done. That's it. It's not
right.
4 days at work. It's 4 days, period.
And no reduction in pay, by the way,
Huge.
Ladies and gentlemen. So let's put up Marianne's comment and then Denise's. Jen, will you read them?
Yeah. Marianne. Ooh, they got away from me. I question that will work. Europe tried to reduce work weeks from 40 to 35. The idea was that employers would hire more employees to get the work done. It never happened. Existing employees only made more overtime.
Interesting. Yeah. See, what I was going to say as I interrupted you was that I suspect that a 4-day work week would actually cause assistants to just have to work harder, to take work home and do it at night and on those days off. You're already working on your days off, and now you would just be working on the 3 days off rather than 2 days off. Let's see what Denise has to say.
At my past company, we had 9-hour work days and 8 hours on Friday and every other Friday off.
Okay. Companies are experimenting. Thanks, Denise, for that. Companies are experimenting. And, we've heard about summer Fridays, or casual Fridays where the dress is a lot more casual. And sometimes summer Fridays were completely off, or sometimes, leaving at 1 o'clock. So company leaders are experimenting with these kinds of plans. Lynn and Karen have comments.
Right. You're exhausted and Friday sleep.
Yeah. Like, what's the use of having time off if you're not going to be able to actually have a life to enjoy it? Good point, Lynn. And Karen said he'd love a 4-day work week.
Yeah. And how about the reality of how many are doing work Saturday morning when there's no emails coming in?
And if, for example, if your company experiments with a 4-day work week, my message to every person listening on this call is to please be the person to raise the red flag if it's not working. If they say they're going to hire more people and don't, because burnout is enough of a problem right now, and stress and anxiety. Denise has a point to make, Jen.
He says, on our Friday off, no one contacted you. It was amazing.
Yeah. So how great would it be if we on this call could be part of setting up these new rules, these new protocols, because the stories that I'm highlighting on today's Heads Together are like the latest in the wave of new developments in light of the changes that started with the pandemic in March of 2020. Sandy Knott has something to share, besides the fact that I look young today.
We're experimenting with the 10-hour days, but as Kapana mentioned, it's hard for parents of children. If the 4 days were from home, no commute, I'm all for it. Bingo.
Yeah. Interesting. So these experiments are just that, experiments. It's as at BTUA, we say, use that line, can we give it a try? Let's give it a try. Let's see if it can actually work. And like with so many things, it might work for managers and other kinds of staff, but those same rules don't necessarily apply to assistants because you're responsible for so much. So then there's still one more story that's related to the first three that I've been sharing. And today's news every business publication, it was blaring from the headlines. All you have to do is go on any your favorite news station, and the headline is that American workers are quitting in droves. And one headline said 4.3 million people quit their jobs in America since August.
That's, and we were talking about this before. That's the size of the population of Louisiana.
Crazy. Like, give or take. It's It's the population of the state of Louisiana, and it's more than another state we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
And more than Wyoming. I think
right,
it was. Because Wyoming only has like 600,000 people in it. Yeah, Lynn says she saw it too. So the big question for me is why? Why? Kalpana saying, yeah, wow, why is that happening? I have my own theory, and actually, that is, if some of you might have seen LinkedIn today, where I was saying that I have a big piece of news, and I do have a big piece of news related to this news story, but I can't tell you quite yet because I haven't signed on the dotted line yet. So American workers are quitting in record numbers. That it's been a steady, not even a stream. It's been like a stampede to the exit. Why? Why do you think that's happening? I mean, I'm just going to plant one seed that one reason why I think people are quitting in droves is because many workers have been working from home happily for many reasons, no commute, many reasons. I'm sorry to my LinkedIn user. I'm not trying to mess with anybody. I'm just trying to follow the rules so I don't mess anything up. You know, I like being a rule breaker at times, but on this one, it's so important. I can't be a rule breaker, but it has to do with why people are quitting in this workplace. And I think part of the reason is that people have really become very productive and feel great about working from home. And now some companies are saying it's time to come back into the office. Mm-hmm. And people are quitting in favor of finding new jobs that are enabling them to work at home at least part of the time in that hybrid way, in that flexible work style.
Right.
Let's see, what do we have? Marion has a theory.
Like to know what business sectors that the people are quitting in. Is it really every sector? Is it a majority leaving, for example, service jobs, hotels, restaurants, hospital care?
Yeah. I mean, there's a plethora of articles out today. Marion, I think you're right that a large number of people are quitting in hospitality. And we know this because if wherever you are in the world, you go to your favorite restaurant and there's a really long wait because they don't have enough staff, or places have shortened their hours because they don't have enough staff to cover. You see empty tables, but you don't see any staff there. So I'm wondering, for those of you listening, are you seeing this in your company? Are people quitting? Is this something you're seeing or not? I think Marion is right that hospitality is a big part, but I'm also hearing in corporate, they're also quitting. We have some Kalpana.
Yeah.
It's very happy to have you here today, Kalpana. Yeah. We're hitting a nerve.
We'd love to know where you work, Kalpana. Hiring in my company, a lot of the candidates are asking for remote work or hybrid working.
Yes. And I think I saw that Kalpana works in the UK. So we'd love, as Jen said, we'd love to know what company you work with that they are hiring. I love helping people get work in new companies. Leaders are wrapping their minds around, can the company be productive and profitable if the staff is working from home? What we have to notice is that managers don't most managers, I would say most all managers, have no training in how to manage a remote staff, how to manage a team that is not physically in the office.
Mhm.
This situation, the pandemic, yes, someone wrote that it's because of the pandemic, right?
Sure.
In part, it is. There's fear about going back into the office. And the companies that are not demanding it and are creating an environment where, yeah, let's discuss it. Let's give it a try. Let's experiment with these kinds of schedules. Those are the ones that are experiencing higher retention. Yeah,
So-
Kerem said Kerem had a comment, but he read this on the Morning Brew this morning. That's a really good newsletter. I just recently started reading the Morning Brew. I like it a lot. I like Business Insider top 10 tech tips. Kerem had a longer comment too.
Sure. So Karam's comment was, where the workers are quitting the most, 892,000 left restaurants, bars, and hotels. 721,000 left their retail gigs. 706,000 ditched their jobs in professional business services, and 534,000 in healthcare and social assistance.
Yeah, it's a very interesting phenomenon right now. But I think the reasons, some of them are obvious and some of them are not so obvious. One of the not so obvious ones is that has to do with bullying and sexual harassment, and that assistants and workers who experience those kinds of behaviors from their managers and coworkers pre-pandemic, what they experience now working from home is that they have less of it now, even though it does exist over Zoom and Teams, and you can have bullying and even sexual harassment remotely, you can. But jobs are so plentiful that many companies are offering signing bonuses and incentives, added incentives to come to work for their companies. So they're leaving behind a toxic, intimidating environment. And I think that is one of the reasons why people are quitting. I don't think that's a reason that's advertised very much, because why would anyone do that? Other than people like me who insists on talking about those things. Lynn has a comment, Jen.
Lynn's my daughter was forced to go back to the office on September 1st. She hates it and is looking for something that's remote.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lynn. And I'm sorry about your daughter's experience. What I hear from recruiters who contact me for help finding highly skilled assistants to fill these 6-figure jobs. There are some amazing assistant jobs available all over the United States right now. The assistants who are willing to go in at least 3 days a week are the ones commanding the highest salaries. And if you are willing to go in 5 days a week and, take on that, what every assistant knows is, being on call 24/7, you are making the most money of all. And it's very interesting what's going on right now, but you've got to have the skills. The skills are key. Let's hear from Nancy Edwards. Hi, Nancy. Welcome.
Hey, Nancy.
Welcome to Heads Together.
So I'm not sure where this is from, but in the government contracting industry, some employees are now quitting because of the White House executive order that mandates all federal employees and all federal contractor employees must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 by December 8th, 2021.
Yep, that is a thing. That's a real thing. I heard it was December 7th, but December 7th, December 8th. You're probably right, Nancy. Yeah. So there are going to be mandates for vaccinations. So we're in the thick of it right now, aren't we? About how this is going to play out in companies. Company leaders are also putting their minds on how do we keep people safe if we are bringing them back into the workspace? Kalpana has another comment.
Thanks for being so active, Kalpana. In the UK, the market has picked up, and it's a candidates market at the moment, so it's a good time to look for a job.
Yeah,
and
finally. Is there
very
something
happy
else?
to go back into the office because I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah, I have to say, recently we did BTUA in Houston, and we're doing BTUA in Colorado Springs, and we are asking for proof of vaccination, and it's creating, and I talked about it last week, how it's creating a real safety, a feeling of safety in the room. And that's just, a small group, but I can only imagine the much bigger challenge with a lot larger group of people. This just happened so quickly, relatively speaking, that no wonder there's just all of this, confusion and conversation about it. Yeah, the whole vaccination conversation is a big one. And so if you have opinions and thoughts on the subject for your leaders, for your HR managers, for your executives, I urge you to share what they are. Jen, could we put up the scroll as we're starting to head towards the end of today? I mean, I can't believe how busy news day this was, with a workplace news that's so connected, and that hopefully you found some of this useful, where you can bring this back to your team. We still have, actually, we have 2 seats left for Colorado Springs on November 10, 11, and 12. Certainly welcome you to go check out the globalskillsmatrix.com, which is the new initiative in the landscape for career path. And I just saw your comment, Kalpana. Please do not apologize for being chatty on Heads Together. If you all have something to say, I want to hear about it. Jen wants to hear about it. We all need to hear. And in fact, on the scroll, you'll see that if any of you are interested in being a guest, an on-camera guest for Heads Together, if you have something to say, if you have a subject matter expertise that would benefit our listeners and our viewers, Jen is waiting to get your email. Right, Jen?
Yes, I am.
There it is on the slide. Yeah, it's on the slide right now. Let's see. Oh, and I was just noticing Denise's comment that she's having an event where requiring proof of vaccination. I think this is definitely a trend. Yeah. So we need to keep sharing information like this with one another, because you're from all over the United States and including Europe. And how great is it to be able to reference this to say, hey, I heard about this, and then you can Google it and get the latest article that's up to the minute information about what's going on right now, because man, oh man, it's moving really fast, what's happening. Now, what I promise is that next Wednesday, we're going to be back with Heads Together again at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, and I will share my big news with you then. Super excited about it. It's something has happened that is going to enable me to share more broadly the messages that I share with you right here on Heads Together every single week. I just know that this is part of the secret sauce to changing the workplace for the better, with each of you doing your own work in your company to bring back this kind of information. I think will benefit everybody involved. So Jennifer Wilner, happy 9 years together.
Yay.
Thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
We do have a lot of fun together, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, and it's never dull, right?
No, it's not. And 2 days are never alike.
Exactly. So, and that hopefully that is true for every single person on this call. Thank you, Kalpana, for your congratulations. Jen and I feel really lucky to have each other. I know for me, I mean this sincerely, I could not do my work without Jen doing the work she does. And I would never sleep. It just, and it wouldn't be worth it. I have to say that. Yeah. Mara. Hi, Mara. I know, 9 years. It's crazy. It goes so fast. So that means the next 9 years are going to go fast. And that means we have to keep sharing information with one another. Okay. So as long as you keep showing up week after week, Jen and I are going to be here and bringing you the latest hot burning news. And if you're interested in coming to talk with us on this show, let me know, because we're going to be so much better when we do it together. So thanks very much for being here, and we'll see you. Thanks for your congratulations, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye.